All right, I am Mimi with Skulls and Bones. It is our fourth and final day of 70,000 tons of metal, and here with me, I am very honored to have Mikael Stanne. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to meet with me.
My pleasure. This is awesome. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So, it is the last day of the cruise,
Yeah.
and what are some of your favorite highlights from...
Wow. Can't remember anything. No.
That's a running thing with multiple bands. Yes.
Yeah. But time stops existing and everything is kind of like just a blur. But probably like just seeing my friends again, like because this is our fourth time.
Mm-hmm.
Just see people who I've been on the cruise with before and just hung out with, and I got to know here, and now we've been friends ever since. You know.
Right, and so, it's been what, you know. The world was shut down for 2.5 years.
Yeah, so our first was 2011, which was the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and but also seeing some amazing bands. I was dying to see Oceans of Slumber, and I got to see them twice. It was one of the best, incredible. And then also some of my absolute favorite bands like Crater and.
I was gonna say, I heard you were in the front row.
Fuck yeah.
Crater is here also on 70,000 tons of metal, and so. When doing my research, I realized they were a big influence for you.
Yeah. I mean, I started the band because I saw Creator in '89. We went to see a show in Gothenburg, and after that I was like, let's start a band. And me and Nicholas, our guitar player, we were like, yep, that's what we're gonna do, and that's it. So,
that's fantastic. So to be here with your idol and your inspiration, that has to be...
Also, they played so many old songs, and it was
you felt like a kid again, right?
Yeah.
I hear that when people speak about you and fans speak about you. I know Jason Carlson, he lights up like a little boy, you know, your work, you know, so it's nice to see that come full circle.
I love it, and there are a lot of, like, you know, not legacy band, but all the bands that I grew up with, like, you know, with Destruction, Creator, that kind of stuff. So it's so great to see them here and sounding as good as ever, if not better. You know, that inspires us still.
Yeah, that's awesome. So with 70,000 tons of metal, fans have the opportunity to do excursions. Did you participate in any of that this year?
We did, yeah. So we had one of those things where you could kind of tag along us and go snorkeling on a not stranded, but you know, an old ship like from the 30s or 40s or stuff like that. So we went out on this boat, and it was awesome. People were super cool, and then we snorkeled for a couple of hours, and then we went back.
Fantastic.
And we had some rum and beer, and it was
like a bunch of pirates, as you should in the Bahamas, right? Right.
But it was gorgeous, and it was so much fun. And I rarely do this. I never really go on vacation, so just like being able to snorkel and just like hang out and swim was fantastic.
It was probably a nice break. You know, we're stuck indoors for a couple of years. I know you mentioned before in the past that Europe was a little bit more lax, but there's still that feeling of just being away from everybody and everything being shut down, and when is the world going to open up again? And to finally have a taste of that freedom, real freedom, a vacation kind of freedom, and where you get to work and play. That's great. So
it's really like social overload. Like finally, like, you want to see everybody. It's like just hug people and see it and go everywhere. And then,
it's emotional overload, isn't it? Yeah. So you said you've been here 4 times, yeah?
Yeah, this is our 4th.
When was your last time you were on the cruise?
18, I think.
Okay, so right before a couple years before.
Yeah.
How does 70,000 tons of metal compare to other festivals that you've been part of?
It doesn't, because it is very different, right? Because obviously, you know, you're on a cruise ship, but also like the whole thing about not having any backstage areas, and like everybody's here, like all the bands are just out just doing the same thing as all the fans are doing as well.
Right.
Makes it very different and super cool in my opinion. And
it's impressive with all the gear. So we have 60 bands aboard the ship, and to see all your gear, you had to be petrified something's gonna happen. Like, you know, has to be one of your first.
But everything works.
It does,
you know?
It's amazing.
I mean, the first year in 11 was a little bit different. It was kind of chaotic and things were weird, but now everything works perfectly, and I love that. And no, but I'm trying to, you know, to people who haven't been here, I'm trying to explain to them, you know, to my friends back home. It's like, but it's impossible. It's like, yeah, sure, it's a cruise ship and there's metal, but it's a little bit more than that, I think, you know, just because of how the whole atmosphere and how cool people are, and
It is different.
and it's something that you kind of remember. So I've made some fantastic friends over the years that that are lifetime friends, just because this is kind of like a weird, different shared experience that you don't tend to forget, you know.
It is quite unique. It's
Yeah.
something I've never seen before. This is my
Yeah.
first time,
Oh,
and so I
right,
had
nice.
no idea what to
Yeah, yeah,
expect.
yeah.
And you hear the little tidbits of it, like you see costumes and you see all this great stuff, and then you see them post, you know, people falling asleep.
Yeah.
And what I love most about the metal community that I've learned in the 5 years
Yeah.
is how compassionate and loving they are.
Yeah.
The stigma, the stereotypes.
Yeah.
It's one of the most loving groups. If somebody fell asleep somewhere, they cover them up. It was, and my son has participated in some shows, and the
Yeah.
fans have like let him sit in the pit, or you know, got him picks or gave their own stuff that
Yeah.
they've gotten, and that's something that through the years I never expected, and that's where.
All right.
Yeah, so I love the metal community.
Yeah.
The fans are beautiful. You guys
Yeah.
are so lucky to have such amazing fans.
And the first year was weird because when I heard about this in 2009 maybe, like for the first time, like the
Yeah.
idea kind of came up, and I read about it somewhere, and I was like, okay, I'm going, regardless if we were playing or not. I'm going to go on a cruise with metal bands. I just want to see that. And but then also I expected, like, okay, it's just going to be rich Americans, and that's it, you know, because it's pretty pricey.
It
you
is
know?
pricey, yeah.
But then when we got on the cruise and I looked around, it's like, I recognize half of these people. These are the people that go to European festivals, you know, that I
Right,
see in
right.
Germany or France or Belgium, wherever. And well, I think one year they had like 72 different nationalities. So that's pretty amazing.
It's a pretty
Yeah.
diverse crowd. You get
Yeah.
to practice some different languages, or Swedish, Spanish. You really do hear a lot of dialect on board.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
really nice. So you have been around since 1989. You have put out over 12 albums, have several plus millions. Okay, streams, multiple bands too.
Yeah.
And traveled around the world performing, and it's exciting to see your longevity. What would you say is the key to that success? What has kept you here in the limelight?
We really suck at everything else, basically. No,
Stop.
no, but no. I mean, it's I still love it. Part of it is yeah, as you say, like the metal community is something that I missed, you know, when we're not out. Writing and recording stuff is still fun, you know, and you want to express yourself. You want to find new ways of making music. But I think, and also just hanging out with my friends and traveling the world and just seeing places and kind of, and also I think without a doubt my favorite thing in the world is that interaction you have with an audience where you can see that they get it. You can see that it's in someone's eyes that it's like, yeah, I understand
Correct.
this. I know what this is about. And when you get that, it's the greatest feeling in the world, you know.
It's your fuel.
It really is, and it really kind of like sparks something. And it's like, if I can make that, and if I can make someone feel like that I feel like when I saw fucking Creator 2 days ago, then that's the greatest feeling in the world. And the downside is that excitement fucking doesn't stop. So I can't even sleep when I'm on tour. I'm just
That
because
has
of all
to be.
that.
I have to
But-
say, like, that has to be one of. Just being here for 4 days, I barely slept. You know, just
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
the nerves, wondering who, and you guys have to do that for months on end.
Yeah, but you do it. But it's no, but that's like that's kind of like a rough part of it, because you're having such an emotional experience, you know, on stage sometimes, where it's like it's overwhelming almost, and it kind of like blocks everything else out, and this is like kind of like the most profound, like insane like experience you have had, and then you wake up in the next morning, it's like, oh, I'm not gonna get that fix again, and then you go on stage and it happens again, and you really become kind of like a adrenaline junkie.
I would say that. Yeah. That's awesome. I really am excited to see more from you. And speaking of which, you announced last month that you are releasing a 13th album.
Yeah.
And what would you say is your inspiration for that upcoming album? Or do we not know yet?
No, we just started. Not just started. So we're collecting material now and kind of like going over demos and recordings and stuff. But it's gonna be cool because we're gonna collaborate more. I think we even brought in like older members actually that want to contribute to the songwriting as well,
no way.
which is amazing.
Oh, that's gonna
something
be fun. That's gonna
which
be really fun.
I've really been looking forward to, and so yeah, but yeah, so we're gonna record during the summer, and hopefully have it done by September or stuff like that, and then comes out beginning of next year.
Merry Christmas, right?
Yeah. These things take time.
We don't even want to talk about snow already. We're already on the upswing into the spring and fall. So
I'll be home in 3 days. Then it's going to be miserable and cold. But
I'm from Chicago, so it was like 5 degrees. So I definitely feel for you on that. So this is my last one for you, and this is something, over the past few years we've been through a lot. And if there's anything you want to say to your fans aboard and beyond, what would you like to tell them today?
I'm just incredibly happy that we still get to do this. That fans are still here for us, still in the front row, like going crazy and buying our records and listening to it. It's pretty amazing, and it even though it was kind of bleak during the pandemic, but at the same time it's like, hey, let's create stuff. And I think for me as a fan, I bought your music and I listened to more music than I have before.
Oh yeah.
And you can tell that that's what people were doing too, like kind of like knowing how to support music even though you couldn't buy a t-shirt at a show or buy a concert ticket. And that was really, really cool to see, like how kind of like old streams and like online sales kind of went up just because people were home and just desperate to.
Have you seen some of those shows that were done online? Like people have done live streams.
I paid for all of them because I wanted to support the bands, and I saw most, and but it was weird. But of course I tried to get into the mood, just pour a couple beers and just put it on my big screen TV, but it's still not the same. And we did one too, and it was cool, but it felt weird to just perform for a camera. Like we did like the entire new album, and it's
not the same.
No. But at least it was something. You did something. Something happened, and that's I think what was missing. Like just something.
You feed off the crowd's energy when you're seeing those hundreds of people, thousands of people come in and rush and cheering and chanting and singing along.
I even thought like I was like, oh, I can't wait to go to an airport again. I even missed the small things, and then I went to an airport again. I was like, no, I didn't miss it.
You don't know what you have until it's gone. When you're told you can't go somewhere, when you lose that freedom, we really you're scratching at the walls to get out. So.
Yeah.
But thank you. That was
cool.
it.
Thank you.